Hello, today we are going to talk about the length of curves. Here in this graph, we can see a curve, right? So our goal is to find the length of it. Our previous topics, it talks about finding the plane area or finding the volume of the points given. So kanisha is different. Now we are going to find unsa katason ang or how long is the curve. Okay, so the formula would just be L is equal to from A to B, the integral of 1 or the square root of 1 plus f prime of x dx. Okay, so kani siya guys, or actually this f prime of x tapos squared. Kani siya guys, we can often see in some other books, if you like reading, no, we can see in some other books na it's sometimes S, no? But it doesn't matter if you put L or S, no? Wala problema. So kung sa inyong gusto, ba? Ano man ni siya. Okay. So let's start with the first example. So actually, this is if x ang imuhang limits. But for y, actually this is just equivalent to from a to b, the square root of 1 plus dy over dx squared. Then gawa si dx. But if your limits is from y, then that's from c to d, 1 plus dx over dy squared dy. Now you might get confused. Basig ang kabalo lang niyo pag-derive, sorry, first speaking in vernacular. So um maybe because in your differential calculus you were just taught to derive in terms of y, but there are sometimes as well that we are going to derive in terms of x. Say for example our example in number 3. So we are going to derive it in terms of x. Our examples 1 and 2 are in terms or differentiation in terms of y. So pag inana, do not be confused. It's just the same. The rule is just to derive first, then you are going to square the derivative and then integrate. So that's it for the length of curves. Say for example, we have to find the length of the curve over the given interval. One branch of the curve 9y squared is equal to 4x cubed from x is equal to 0 to x is equal to 3. So therefore, okay, this is a curve. Okay, this is not a line. So curve na siya. Basta curve. So that's not a line. So we're going to find the length of the curve from this point to this point. So from 0 to 3, let's find the length of the curve. All right, we already have the limits, but we don't have dy over dx yet, di ba? Our formula is from 0 to 3, 1 plus dy over dx squared dx. Now, we are going to derive the curve or the function 9y squared is equal to 4x cubed. So let's start. That's 9y squared is equal to 4x cubed. That's 18y dy equals 12x squared dx. Okay, where our goal is dy over dx since our limits is in terms of x. So therefore, we derive this one by 18y dx. Then this one as well with 18y dx. Therefore, 18y will be cancelled and we already now have dy over dx. Okay, 12 over 18, the simplification for that one is 2/3. Then, x squared over y. So therefore, our dy over dx is 2x squared over 3y. Okay, next is we are going to substitute that one to our formula. But before that, we are going to let this one in terms of x muna. No? So we still have y. Diba? We cannot um, integrate it directly if we have the function or we have the variable y here. So what we are going to do is to substitute this one in terms of x. Okay, again we have 9y squared is equal to 4x cubed. Divide both sides by 9, then you square root both sides. So that's y is equal to, that's 2/3. Then, diba, square root of 4 is 2, square root of 9 is 3. And then, the square root of x cubed, or that's x 3/2. Therefore, your dy over dx is 2x squared over 3 times 2/3 x 3/2. Cancel, cancel. So that's x squared minus, oh, cancel din natin si 2. So 2 minus 3/2, that would be, uh, 2 minus 3/2. 1/2. Ayan. So, very easy na lang, no? Since our dy over dx is just equivalent to 1/2. Therefore, our length of our curve is from 0 to 3, 1 plus x 1/2 squared. So, therefore, makancel si, or makancel yung square root, therefore, magiging x na lang siya. Right? Okay. So, from 0 to 3, 1 plus x dx. Now, we already know how to derive functions like this. Tama? So, ito si square root of 1 over x, it's just equivalent to 1 plus x raised to 1/2. Diba? Mas madali, or it's easier for us to integrate given this equation. So we are going to use the u substitution. That's 1 plus x. Then du would be equal to dx. Therefore, L is equal to, from 0 to 3, that's u raised to 1/2. And then dx is du. Okay. Now we will have 1/2 plus 1. So that's 3/2. Tama. So u 3/2 over 3/2, or 2u 3/2 over 3. Okay, that's 3/2. Or all right. And that is from 0 to 3. Let's change it in terms of x muna. 1 plus x over 3, and that is from 0 to 3. Then substitute. So 2 times 1 plus 3 over 3 minus 2 times 1 plus 0 over 3. That would be equal to 2 times 4, that's 8 over 3. Did we? Oh, okay. So we forgot to put 3/2 here. Sorry. No, very careless. I'm sometimes careless. So 2 times 1 plus 3, that's raised to 3/2. So that's 4 raised to 3/2. So 8 times 2, 16 over 3. Ito din siya. 16 over 3 minus 1 raised to 3/2. That's 1. Then times 2, that's 2/3. Or the final answer, the length of the arc or the curve is 14 over 3 square units, or units. Sorry, that's not area, that's the length. Okay, now let's proceed with problem number 2. Now guys, if you are asked to graph just like what I did in number 1, then please do. Now for example, in exam there are points in graph, then do the graphing. But for instances in board exam where in solutions are not required, you can actually do this. Okay? But if sa atong exam, in our exam, what will be instructed will what you are going to do. For example, you're going to graph, so you graph. No? So in number 2, I will not require myself to graph since we can directly solve this one. Okay? The given is the function, or obviously this is a curve because obviously no, it will be given or it's a given sa book. But um sometimes no basig we are being tricked, so we must first check if this is really a curve. For example, wala ta kabalo na ang gihatag day is y is equal to x plus 1, and that is not a curve, and you are being tricked to find the length of the curve, no? And the limits is from 0 to 1. So let's start. We are going to derive this one. That's f prime of x, or dy over dx. So I think this is enclosed. Yes, it's not. So the f prime of x is this one. The derivative of 1 is 0. Derivative of 6x 3 halves is 3 halves times 6. Then x 3 halves minus 1. So 3 halves minus 1 is just equivalent to 1 half. So that's 9x raised to 1 half. Okay. Now, the formula. So the L or S, the L length is, we have from 0 to 1, 1 plus f prime of x squared. So that's 9x 1 half. Then squared dx. Simplifying our equation, that is 1 plus 9 squared, that's 81, and x 1 half squared, that's x dx. Now, what are we going to do to integrate the function? Again, use substitution will be used. So, kanisha, it's 1 plus 81x. So, du is 81 dx. So, that is du over 81. Substituting this to u, that's u raised to 1 half, and then dx is du over 81. So, magiging 1 over 81. Then this is u 1 half plus 1. That's u 3 halves over 3 halves. So that's 2 again, u 3 halves over 3 from 0 to 1. Okay, then let's change this in terms of x. Your u is 1 plus 81x raised to 3 halves all over 3 from 0 to 1. Okay, that's 1 over 81. 2 times 1 plus 81 times 1, that's 81, raised to 3 halves, all over 3, minus 2 times 1 plus 81 times 0. So 0 na siya, no? Raised to 3 halves, all over 3. Okay, simplify. 1 over 81 times, this is 82, no, raised to 3 halves. So 2 times 82 raised to 3 halves all over 3 minus 1 plus 0 raised to 3 halves. So that's 2/3 na lang. Now 1 raised to 3 halves is 1. Then times din mo siya og 2, then 2/3. Can we still simplify? Let's try our calculator. Now if pwede. It's in decimal form. So if for instances na dili siya ma-fractional form because, di ba, I'm requiring you always to put your answers in fractional form. So, try natin, no? 3 halves minus 1 over 81. Okay, so it cannot be. No, hindi na siya. Well, I think pwede na siya. Pero sige, gawin nating decimal. We can actually do it in decimal. So if you're asked to do it in decimal form, then that's 6.1032 units. But if I don't ask you to do it in decimal, your final answer can be this one lang. Okay? Alright. Now let's go with example number 3. Find the length of the curve x equals 1/3 y squared plus 2 raised to 3 halves from 0 to 4. So, this one, we require dx to dy. And siguro, let's not be technical about my graph. So, from 0 to 4 daw may curve dito. So, yan. So, you are going to find the length of the curve given there. So, let's derive x is equal to 1/3 y squared plus 2 3 halves. So, dx over dy is equal to 3 halves times 1/3 times y squared plus 2, then 3 halves minus 1, that's 1 half. Simplify, therefore that's 1 half y squared plus 2, 1 half. Okay, so L is equal to, that's from C to D, so that's 0 to 4, and square root of 1 plus dx over dy. So, ano yung dx over dy natin? That's 1 half. So can we square this one na lang para substitute diretso dito? So, if you're going to square this one, that's 1/4. Am I correct? Okay, so the differentiation is wrong. This should be the chain rule. We forgot to derive 2y as y squared, so that's 2y. So that's 2, cancel si 2, 2, then mawala si 1 half, I'm sorry. Ano nangyayari sa akin? Okay, so 1 half, y squared plus 2, 1 half, then that's y. If we are going to square that one, that would be y squared, then dito siya is the square root will be gone. So therefore, that's y squared plus 2, and that's y to the power of 4 plus 2, y squared. So, this will become like this one. Okay, so what is next here? So that's from 0 to 4. Ito siya will be, if we're going to do y squared plus 1 and then square, so if you are going to use the FOIL method to if you're going to use the FOIL method to distribute, then the answer would be this. So what we did here is we factored this one to this one to make it simpler and to make para it's much easier to integrate. Okay? So, therefore, square root and square will be gone. What's left would be from 0 to 4 y squared plus 1 dy. Okay, so therefore this is from 0 to 4. We can now integrate this one. That's y cubed over 3 plus, this one is y, from 0 to 4. So your length is 4 3 over 3, 4 cube over 3 plus 4 minus 0 plus 0. Obviously, that's 0. So 4 cube over 3 plus 4. That's 76 over 3 units. This is your final answer. Okay, so for your activity to be submitted tomorrow, November 25 until 11:59 p.m., please answer assignment. X is equal to 1/3 square root of y. The limits 1. It's from 1 to 9. And number 2 is y equals 3 halves x 2/3. Then 1 x 8. Okay. The requirements is to graph and complete solution. Okay, the step-by-step solution. So do not calculator. No, do not use calculator yet. No, I want the step-by-step solution. And letter C is the final answer in fractional form. Okay, so I think that's it for today. Thank you for listening. Hope you will have a wonderful day. Goodbye.